Hello all you miniatures fans. It is Monday the 26th of October. I am Doc Eon and this is my latest update on my painting. And we're starting out with bones. Finished up the Heroes and Villains set. They're not much to look at, but hey. What is interesting is that, as I have said, these are the last of them. This is it. I have beaten the bones. I have defeated the tyranny of Bone Sylvania. Ding dong, Mr. Bones is dead. It's been a long, strange trip. And I almost didn't think I would see the end of it. But I did, and eventually I prevailed. And now they're all gone. Anyway. So what am I going to do for crafting these now? I mean, how am I going to speed paint lots of minis to get my numbers up after this is done? Oh well, I guess I'll have to find something else to do. While I'm at the table, I can also show you something else I completed, which is these treasure markers. Which I think turned out okay. Little piles of coins and treasure, and this one, I'm not sure how clear it comes across, but these are like old dead guys and crabs scuttling over the bones. They paid too dear a price for their treasure. I am not going to show you a lot more in this video because even though I have a lot of time to paint this week, as I noted in the Spookytober update, I want to spend most of that time on the Spookytober project. I'm not starting up another big project before the end of October, but next week, when November gets rolling, I might think up something. But anyway, let's see what is on the painting table right now. I've gone in and re-established the base tone for the skin a little bit on these witches, and I think I've figured out my mental block about these ladies, what's been stopping me from painting them. It's that my normal order of painting isn't going to work. Because normally I paint from the skin out, and what's been bothering me is if I do that, they have all these little, like this ankle ring and this arm ring here and a bracelet, and even things like just a piece of cord or a strap or a string tied around her bicep here. How on earth do I paint a small detail like that without messing up the skin tone underneath? And the answer is I really can't. So I have to flip the order. I have to realign my thinking and paint these little details first because they're the smallest part. They're the smaller parts of the mini. And then I can go in and paint the skin around them, which will be easier. That's one issue. The other issue is identifying all the little finicky things. Like here in her hair, she's got a bird skull and a feather and two more feathers, and I thought these were feathers, but they're not. They're the backside of curls. But feather, 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 some sort of earring. Skulls, skulls, feathers, feathers, skulls. It's just a ton of stuff. Skull, 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 feather, feather. Keeping track of all this stuff is a lot of work. And this one is similar, even though it's a different company, a different sculptor. It has some of the same issues. It has skulls, skulls, birds, birds. What's this thing? Oh, that's a piece of wood. Not so much feathers on her. More the case of, oh, here's a couple of skulls in her hair. Tiny, these look like tiny human skulls. And some sort of medallion and necklace and a hairband and medallion and some sort of string and all these tiny, tiny, tiny things that you need a magnifying glass to even see. Well, I promise I'm gonna get more done on them. And I just realized in the previous segment, you probably didn't know what I was talking about. I mentioned something I'd said in the Spookytober video yesterday, and I realized I didn't say it yesterday. I was planning to say something, and then I forgot. And then when I started shooting this video, I assumed that I'd remembered. But now I realized I forgot. I remembered that I forgot. Anyway, what I was going to say is this upcoming week is a school holiday in Sweden, which means I have more free time to paint. So you would think I would load up with more projects, but no, I'm not going to, because I'm doing this Spookytober thing. And I'm prioritizing finishing up all my undead. If I get more time left after I finish the projects that are on the table, I will, add stretch goals to the Spookytoberfest instead of to my usual schedule. The one exception is this guy. This is a bard. I think his name is Ronaldo or Rinaldo, perhaps. Why is he an exception? Well, because he's a magic miniature, like all the undead. But he's not an undead, but he was part of the Kings. He was a bonus figure, a stretch goal or something for the Kings of War Kickstarter. So I got him for free. And I decided, since I'm painting so much magic stuff anyway, I might as well paint up him. But I'm not painting him as a Kings of War model. I don't think there are any bards in Kings of War. So I'm not putting him on the magic base. I'm using a normal 25mm round base. And I think I might be using him for Frostgrave, because in the next expansion for Frostgrave, Thaw the Lich Lord, there will be bards playable. There were a couple of issues with this model. He had a feather in his cap. However, when it arrived, it had been bent and it was lying flat across. So I tried to bend it up and it broke. And I tried to glue it back on. It wouldn't stick and it fell on the floor and disappeared. Swallowed up by the black hole of my floor. So I just filed down the remaining thing and said, yeah, it's got a flat cap. The other issue you probably can't even see here. I wanted to pin his foot and I drilled all the way through, and so the pin is sticking up here. I mean, I could have pushed the pin down a little bit, but whatever. It's more stable this way, and let's just say he has a lump on the top of his foot. And finally, a little bonus Spookytoberfest thing. I did assemble this. Now, as I mentioned, I did a partial assembly of everything except this piece, because here you can see that I can reach everything on this model and paint all the different parts. If I were to attach this, it snaps into place very easily here. So this is what it completely looks like. You can see that it suddenly becomes very difficult to access down here and on the back side of the shields, and yeah, so leave that off for now. And you'll notice the stickers. What have I done with these? I applied these and I started distressing them. I took my knife and I followed the notches that were in the sculpts, that were in the model underneath the stickers, and I cut away the stickers there, and that made this whole corner fall off, unfortunately, but oh well. We can just say that all the paint there peeled off and it's exposed to bare metal. And how did I get the scuffed look? Well, I painted over, because they're very glossy, the stickers, and paint would just slide off them, so I needed to prime them somehow, and I did that with a coat of matte varnish, because matte varnish, well, let's not get into the technicalities of it here, but matte varnish will function as a kind of primer. It will help paint stick to the surface better. And I'm not going to put paint over them, but I'm going to give them like a wash to make them look dirtier once everything else is painted. Well, there's some of the Spookytober Fest bled into my normal updates. But anyway, that's what's on the table for this week. Well, let's finish today's video off by looking at some loot. It's not a huge haul this week. A small package arrived with some stuff, some basic supplies. This is the Wave 2 Arsenal deck for the Neverborn. There's only like maybe half a dozen cards in this whole pack that I actually need, because I have the metal models for them, but oh well, better safe than sorry. Also for Malifaux, I picked up some basing stuff. These are the Driftwood Docks 30mm base inserts. So you can get a picture of them. Well, the idea is that there's wood planking for docks and and the beach and an anchor and some stuff. Seaside. And then we have the flame base and accessories. Again, there's one, let's see here, there's one actual base. Again, this is motivated, the Driftwood Docks I could use for just about any crew or any model. The flame base is specifically intended for Karis. And some flame accessories. And then I picked up a couple of generally useful paints. These are Vallejo watercolor paints. We have the German Camouflage Dark Green and the Dark Sea Blue, and they are, as advertised, a dark green and a dark blue. And these particular colors are very useful shading colors. They will shade almost anything, so I like having them around. Well, that's all I had to show you today. So until next time, I'm Doc Eon, and I'm signing off.